and today I am super stoked to share with you an absolutely fantastic recipe for a low-carb moussaka. That's right, you heard me correctly, a low-carb moussaka. And what I'm going to do very simply is replace the potato factor of the recipe with this, one of my favorite friends in the kitchen, cauliflower. It's going to have the same excellent flavor, the same robust taste, just way down on the carbs. And somebody who's watching their figure or following like a keto low carb kind of plan can follow this and enjoy this with guilt free. I know it's hard to imagine me wanting to control my weight. But anyway, so to start us off very simply, there's nothing to this recipe as long as you're organized and you get your shit together. I can't be more straightforward and upfront with you than this. And for this, basically what you're gonna need is 2 pans. One for your eggplant and one for your cauliflower. So for this, what we're gonna do very simply is slice up our cauliflower into approximately 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch thick slices. Now, even if it crumbles on you or falls apart on you, that's fine too. It's all gonna get layered anyway, so not a big deal. And for this, what you're going to do is simply place it on a baking sheet, and what you're going to do as well is, a good idea would be to line it with parchment paper. You don't want this stuff sticking or it just becomes kind of a messy, not a good thing. The next part of this, I'm just going to take a little Greek extra virgin olive oil and just drizzle it on top, and that's it. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and I'm going to do the same for my eggplant. Eggplant, again, you're going to cut it from end to end, nice and easy, nothing to this at all. And you're going to start cutting it down into thin slices. You're going to do about 1/4 inch thick, and that's our eggplant all sliced up. And you're going to put this down on your baking sheet as well. Fairly even layers. You don't need a lot of this. I actually cut way more eggplant than I need, but then again, in a Greek household, you never really kind of have eggplant go to waste. Same deal with this. Drizzle it with a little Greek extra virgin olive oil, just on the top, a little bit like that. And what we're gonna do is pop this into a 400-degree oven or 200 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes, and this will start softening and getting the cooking process started. Alright, so now that our eggplants and our cauliflower are roasting off, they're out of the way doing their thing. The next part of this, and getting on with the recipe, is the actual sauce. And in this, it's a very traditional Greek meat sauce. I've included a link to the recipe down below in the description, so you can access that whenever you feel like it. But in this case, I'm using about 1 pound of lean ground beef for this. A little Greek extra virgin olive oil goes into our pan, maybe about a tablespoon or so. Get that off and going, and just break it up so that way it browns a little bit faster. I could have chopped my onion using the traditional hand method, but you know what? The lazy is there for a reason in gourmet. I just use my food processor and it's done in like 15 seconds. Next part of this is adding our minced onion. And again, nothing to this at all, just put it in there. Alright, so as our ground beef is working, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt goes in. Nice and easy. Perfect. Next thing to go in is a can, 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes. And I'm also going to take about 1/2 cup of water and just put it in just like that. And loosens it up and get this off and going as well. So for the most part now, Our sauce is ready, except for one little key ingredient that's really gonna Greek it up, and that is ground cinnamon. So for this, you're gonna use about half a teaspoon. It doesn't take much. You're not gonna need like a whole shitload of cinnamon. And just mix that in there. You may also want to turn down the heat a little bit to your pot. You don't want this kind of bubbling over and boiling, and it's just going to become a mess and not good. So, my friends, here goes our sauce. It's off and running. Let that kind of tighten up a little bit for about 20-25 minutes, just in time for our eggplant and our cauliflower to come out. Perfect, so now our sauce is ready to go. Our cauliflower and our eggplant is done as well. It's roasted off, and this is absolutely beautiful. As you can see here, it's actually gonna have like this nutty flavor to it, and that's exactly what you want, and that's perfect. So this is gonna be part of our low-carb solution to our moussaka, which is replacing the potato. And here, obviously, our eggplants are good to go as well. So that's perfect right there. Now, using my beloved 9x13 pan, it's time to start building our moussaka. And for this, what I'm going to be using is that slotted spoon there. First things first, what you're going to do is add a thin layer of your tomato sauce or your meat sauce on the bottom. And it'll just keep everything from sticking and becoming like a goopy mess and a sticky mess. And you don't want that, believe me. So, just like that, perfect. Now, what we're gonna do is, the bottom layer is going to be our cauliflower. So, for this, I'm going to take my cauliflower and very carefully, actually, start layering it on the bottom. This is gonna be so delicious. It's gonna be amazing. And there really isn't anything to this. You just gotta watch yourself because this is kind of really hot right now. And you're gonna just start layering this as evenly as you can throughout the bottom of your pan. And remember, again, this is replacing our potato layer. All right, that's perfect there for the cauliflower. Now, the next part here is adding another layer of our meat sauce over our roasted cauliflower. And you want it a little bit on the thicker side as well. You want to kind of have some substance. This is smelling so delicious. This is pretty much one of my all-time favorite sauces. You cannot absolutely beat this. And you think that it's got cinnamon in it, but it's not really that big of a deal at all. So that's that. Let me grab my crusty mitt because this is still hot as sin. And our eggplant is nicely done. And you're gonna put this as well in a nice layer, a single layer along the top of your eggplant. Now this is where the traditional moussaka comes into play, and this is how, you know, they typically do it. Where we cut a corner as well and kind of healthy up this meal is I've baked the eggplant and the veggies rather than frying them. So again, put this over here, and now we put our remaining sauce over our eggplant, and this is looking absolute. Get that out of your way for you. This is actually perfect. This is, my goodness, this is crazy good. All right, and there we have the moussaka, for the most part, built except for the bechamel. And now I will tell you, the kicker to this recipe, the part 2 of the low carb factor, is it's going to be a low carb bechamel that I'm going to use for this moussaka, which basically will eliminate the need for the roux, the butter and the flour, flour is where all the carbs are. We're not gonna be using flour. Instead, I'm gonna be using 3 little ingredients that are gonna like blow your mind. They are that good. Strained Greek yogurt, eggs, and feta cheese. For this bechamel recipe, the key to this is A, it's low carb, and B, there's no cooking involved. It's just straight mixing it in your food processor, which is I like to use. I don't like to do it by hand only because I'm lazy, but you can do this whichever way you prefer. So for this, to start us off, we're gonna need about 2 cups of the strained Greek yogurt, and that's gonna go right into your food processor directly. Nice and easy. Very nice. Just like that. Perfect. So, about 2 cups goes in there. And we're gonna use as well 300 grams of feta. Can't forget of the feta. And I'm just gonna crumble this in there, make it easier on the food processor, just without it exploding all over the place. And that's perfect. Just like that. Clean off my hands a bit there. I love this recipe. And it'll also save a step by not having to cook it down. A little bit of pepper, an extremely small amount of salt, only because of the feta. It's already got enough sodium and enough of the saltiness in the brine for this, so you don't want to go too much overboard. And 6 eggs. And very carefully put your eggs into your mix here without getting shells. You want texture, but not that kind. Perfect. And our last egg is in there, and that's perfect. And no bechamel would be complete without a little bit of nutmeg. So I'm just gonna take a nutmeg pod. Again, the same ratio that you would use for like a regular baked bechamel, you would use for this one as well. So you're gonna use about 1/8 to about 1/4 of a pod of nutmeg, just to give it that little je ne sais quoi, or that little kiss of flavor. Pop this in, whiz it up, just it's all blended and smooth. And that's perfect right there. Now, what's gonna wind up happening is this is combined. Look at this. Just help it along here. This smells so amazing. It's not even like cooked yet. Make sure it gets in all the nooks and crannies. This is exactly what you want. Excellent. Now this is ready to go into our oven. It's already going at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. And you're gonna pop this in there for about 30 to 45 minutes, or just until the top of the bechamel gets brown and blistered. Holy crap, somebody hold me. It's been about 45 minutes or so, actually closer to an hour. I've let this thing rest now. My moussaka has turned out absolutely fantastic. I am like beyond thrilled. I am like so excited. In fact, holy crap, I could take a selfie with this. But this is absolutely amazing. At this stage of the game, once it's done, you want to let this kind of sit for at least half an hour, 45 minutes. Let everything kind of reconstitute. Let the bechamel firm up, because nothing worse or no greater sin than slicing into like a moussaka or a pasticcio and having your bechamel kind of cave in and become all runny and gross. Not good. All this is slicing up and roasting off your eggplant and your cauliflower, making the meat sauce, and then the bechamel. And the low-carb bechamel along with the cauliflower will make this a hit with everybody. Whether you're like a fitty or whether you're just somebody who enjoys good food, the flavor of this is absolutely unmistakably delicious. once you cut into this, you're gonna see the beautiful layers. You're going to see the cauliflower on the bottom, the luscious eggplant just above that, and then covering that all up is a very silky, pillowy of our low-carb bechamel. I'm also going to include a separate video for the bechamel, which you can include in other recipes, whether you're making moussaka, you're making pastizo, lasagna, whatever it may be. You can even use it on pasta. That's totally cool too. So that's it for this episode, my friends, on my low-carb moussaka. I hope you guys had fun watching this. I know I had a blast making this. And until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.